Track 2.17, Unit 10, Lesson 1, Activity 2. The Robbery.
You're all here because there was a robbery at the museum yesterday.
We're all suspects, aren't we, Inspector?
Yes, you are. I'm sorry. A valuable dinosaur egg is missing from the museum. Someone stole it yesterday evening.
That's terrible.
You were the only visitors in the museum at the time of the robbery. I'm taking statements about where you all were at 5 o'clock. Mr. Plump, where were you?
I was drawing hieroglyphics in the Egyptian room. It's my favourite hobby.
Collecting dinosaur eggs is also one of your hobbies, isn't it?
That's not a crime, is it?
Miss Specs, the CCTV camera shows you leaving the museum with a large bag at 5 o'clock.
Yes, it was my brother's birthday. I bought him a present in the museum shop. I can prove it. Here's the receipt showing what I bought.
OK, thank you. Now, who's next? Tim, isn't it?
Yes, Inspector. I was at the museum on a school trip.
But the trip ended at 4 o'clock. Why were you still here at 5 o'clock?
I can answer that, Inspector. Tim lost his school bag and went to find it. Then he got lost. I went to look for him and found him in the Chinese room at 5 o'clock.
OK. What about you, Miss Snaps?
I was in the restoration room looking at some old paintings.
Did anyone see you?
Yes, I talked to the museum guard. He saw me go in at 5:15 and leave 20 minutes later.
How interesting. Then, Dr. Green, it seems that you were the only person who was in the dinosaur room at 5 o'clock yesterday.
Yes, I was there all afternoon. I was doing some research on dinosaur eggs, but I didn't steal the egg.
He's lying, Inspector. He was the only one there. He must be the thief.
Actually, Miss Specs, Dr. Green is not the thief.
Really? How do you know?
Because the egg wasn't in the dinosaur room at 5 o'clock. It was in the restoration room for cleaning. And that's when Miss Snaps stole it.
I didn't steal it. I only borrowed it. I wanted to take a photograph of it in my garden for a magazine. I was going to put it back today, but I haven't had time yet. Look, here it is.
Congratulations, Inspector. You've solved the crime. Can we all go home now?
Yes, you can. Except for you, Miss Snaps. You'll have to come with me.
Track 2.18, Unit 10, Lesson 4, Activity 1.
Don't forget our class trip to the Museum of Mysteries next week.
Great! What should we wear?
You don't have to wear uniform, but you must look smart, so you can't wear jeans. And it might be cold, so you should bring a jacket.
Should we bring lunch?
We'll have lunch in the cafeteria, but you should bring a snack. And you shouldn't bring valuable possessions because you may lose them.
Do we have to stay together at the museum?
You can explore in small groups, but you must behave well.
Can we take our phones?
Yes, but you have to hand them in when you arrive. You mustn't use phones in the museum.
Track 2.19, Unit 10, Lesson 5, Activities 1, 2 and 3.
Good afternoon. Today I'm reporting from the Nazca Desert in the south of Peru. I'm in a plane flying over the Nazca Lines. The Nazca Lines are amazing pictures in the desert. To this day, it's a mystery who made them or why. Mark, can you give us some more information?
Of course, Jackie. The Nazca Lines are between 500 and 2,000 years old. They became world famous when a pilot saw them from his plane in 1939. You can also see the pictures from the top of a mountain. But for the best view, you should fly over them. Jackie, you're in the plane now, aren't you? How's the view?
It's amazing, Mark. I can see lots of pictures. There's a spider and a monkey. Below them, there's a bird, and to the north, there's a 60-metre-long snake. There are over 300 pictures altogether. Mark, do we know how people made them?
Yes, we do. They removed the red rocks on the surface of the desert to show the white ground below. Because there is very little wind or rain in the area, you can still see the pictures clearly today, even though some are almost 2,000 years old.
So now we know how these pictures appeared. Let's find out why. Earlier, I talked to Professor Sands, an expert on the Nazca Lines. Professor, it's still a mystery why people made these pictures, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but we have some ideas. Since you can see the pictures from the mountains, some people believe they showed the way across the desert. Others believe they showed the position of the stars in the sky. But in an area with very little rain, water was very important to the Nazca culture. I believe they showed where water flowed under the surface of the desert. Also, spiders are believed to be a sign of rain, and monkeys are found in the Amazon, an area with a lot of water.
That's very interesting. Thank you, Professor. This is Jackie Smith reporting from the Nazca Desert up in the air.
Track 2.20, Unit 10, Lesson 7, Activity 1. Mystery 1. A strange thing happened yesterday. A man came out of a bank, went into the station, and got on a train. He was carrying a big leather bag. When the train arrived at his station, he stood up and walked to the doors. Then, guess what? While he was getting off the train, someone took his bag and ran away. The man ran after him, but he couldn't catch him. Suddenly, a police car arrived. A police officer got out and asked the man, "Do you want to report a crime?" You won't believe this, but the man said, "No, thank you," and went back into the station to catch the next train. Why do you think he didn't report the robbery?